is the Chosen One. You must see it.
Only the Chosen One could tame both my children.
It's true what they say. You are the Chosen One. Join me. Together we can change the balance of the universe.
With all due respect, Master, is he not the Chosen One? Is he not to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force?
So the prophecy says.
You are the Chosen One! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about why I believe that Anakin Skywalker is indeed the new Father of Mortis. If you think back to the Clone Wars and the Mortis arc, he was brought to the planet because he was the one to bring balance to the Force. Just like you guys saw in the short intro, there's a lot of people who believe that Anakin Skywalker is the Chosen One. The father was somewhat the balance of the daughter who was the light side and the son who was the dark side. The father wanted Anakin to take over for him. Anakin had no desire to do this. He had Padme to go back to. He was still becoming a Jedi Master. So Anakin did not want the responsibility at that time. And because he did turn to the dark side from the manipulation of Palpatine, he ended up becoming Darth Vader. And then he was redeemed in the end by his son Luke Skywalker when they worked together to defeat Emperor Palpatine. Well, at least for the first time.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
So the world between worlds is a gateway between space and time. So what I believe is when Anakin was redeemed and became a Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, this allowed him access to the world between worlds. Again, if we go back to Rebels, we saw that Emperor Palpatine wanted to gain that power because he knew if he had the ability to be able to see anything he wanted during the Star Wars timelines, that he would have ultimate power. He would see any type of betrayals against him. He could actually see the plans that the rebels or resistance would have. So this would make him the most powerful person in the universe. And that is obviously what Emperor Palpatine wanted, and that was the whole goal that he had throughout the entire saga. Now let's move forward to episode 5 of Ahsoka. Now we know that Ahsoka had died in the Mortis arc back in Clone Wars. And what happened was the daughter gave her essence so Ahsoka could live, and this in return killed the daughter. We then saw that the father ends up getting killed by the son, even though it is by his own hand. The father didn't see much of a choice, and then the son is murdered by Anakin. The original goal of the father was for Anakin to take his place. So I think because the father, son, and daughter technically are all dead at this point, even though we do see them on the mural on the entrance to the world between worlds, that Ezra Bridger is able to use his abilities to open. And even in this clip, Emperor Palpatine knows about what the Mortis gods are. After Ahsoka falls from the cliff, after her duel with Balon, we see that Hera and Carson and the rest of the fleet are scouring the ocean and trying to figure out where she fell. Why can't they find her? Well, this is because I believe that her body was actually transported to the world between worlds. And obviously we see in the episode that she has to complete her training with Anakin. It is Ahsoka's decision to either live or die. As Anakin takes her through different visions of her past, we can see that the clear lesson here is that Ahsoka blames herself for Anakin turning to the dark side. I think in Ahsoka's mind, if she never had left the Jedi Order, which in my opinion she had every right to do after the way she was treated, especially by Mace Windu, in her mind she believes that if she never had left, then Anakin would never have turned to the dark side. And in the final scene, when they are fighting with their sabers back on the world between worlds, we can see that Ahsoka is clearly a masterful sword fighter, even without the lightsabers, which she's proven a few times actually here in lore. She actually took the lightsaber from the Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi, and now she here is taking Anakin's. Now, I do believe that Anakin allowed this to happen, because I don't know if Ahsoka is a better duelist than Anakin is, but I think it was part of the plan, again, and this is why I do believe that Anakin is the father of Mortis now, because his idea was that he needed to train her this one last time, teach that one final lesson, so she could come back to the light as the daughter and become that full-pledged Jedi. And this is why we have Ahsoka the White. So with Anakin Skywalker being the chosen one, the one to bring balance to the Force, which is what the job was of the father, son, and daughter. We now have Anakin as the father. We now have Ahsoka as the daughter. What do we have left? We need the son. Now this is where I think things will get quite interesting. A lot of rumors out there that maybe Darth Maul's coming back. Not exactly sure how that would work. Obviously, we have Night Sister magic in this, but I believe it may end up being Ezra. As much as I don't want that for Ezra's arc, it is really starting to make a lot of sense. The only other choice that I can see would be Jason. I think Ezra might come back and kind of take on that son role. That doesn't mean he'll be 100% evil, but it does mean that he will have more dark side tendencies. I don't think that they'll do that with Jason, because I do think Jason is going to be trained by Ahsoka, and I think that's one of my theories for season 2. And if there is no season 2, then we would probably definitely see that in Dave Filoni's movie that is going to be loosely based on Heir to the Empire. Alright guys, well let me know what you think about all this. Do you think that Anakin is the father? Do you think Ahsoka is the daughter? Who do you think might be the son? Or do you think that all of this is completely unrealistic and we're not going to even be talking about this in a few short weeks at the end of the Ahsoka series? I just think it's a very interesting plot if this is what they decide to do, because it brings all together the Clone Wars, the Rebels, and now the Ahsoka series. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out of here. Subscribe if you haven't. Keep those heads on. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next